Welcome back to Julie's Village. I'm glad you're here. Today I'm going to talk about a strategy called task analysis. Before I explain what task analysis is, I'm going to share a story that I often think of when I think about task analysis. In sixth grade, I had a teacher who had us do a how to paper. I think others of you may have had a similar experience where he started out by having us write a how to paper about how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He told us beforehand to be as detailed as possible because he was going to be using our papers to make an actual peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So we write our papers, we turn them in, and then he comes in with things to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it was hilarious the way that he did it. He went just exactly how we wrote it. For instance, if it said to put peanut butter on one piece of bread and jelly on another piece of bread, he would use his hands to dip into the jar and just put the peanut butter on the bread and then the jelly on the bread. If it said to put the pieces together, he might put the pieces together with the backside or the jelly against bread and peanut butter sticking out or something like that because we hadn't included the detail of putting peanut butter on one side, jelly on another side, and putting the bread with the peanut butter and jelly facing each other. No, in that first example, he wasn't told to grab a knife, so he just used his hands to do it. He just did things like that to just make it really silly, but also it drove home this point of how detailed we really need to be. Task analysis is all about finding the specific details required to complete a task. What are the specific skills needed to complete the task? So you're basically analyzing a task to see what is required for completion. So, for example, if we were talking about brushing teeth, you could think about like, all right, well, you get the toothpaste and your toothbrush and you put it on you put the toothpaste on the toothbrush and you start brushing your teeth. You might even think about the fact that like you spit and you rinse and you turn on water, things like that. Task analysis, when you use it, it says dive in deeper. Let's get deeper into the specific skills. So, first of all, can the child pick out their own toothbrush? Can they hold the toothbrush in a way that's effective for putting toothpaste on? Do they have the bristles up? Can they turn their wrist to get the bristles up? Can they open that cap on the toothpaste tube? Are they able to hold the toothpaste in a way that squeezes it directly onto the toothbrush? Um, are they able to put that pressure to squeeze? And again, does it go on the toothbrush or does it go all over the counter? Um, can they bring the toothbrush or can they turn on the faucet to get water on their toothbrush? Can they put the toothbrush in their mouth or does it sometimes miss the mouth and hit the cheek? Can they move their arm in a way that gives that brushing motion? I think dentists teach to do it in like a circular motion. Can your child move their hands in a circular motion to brush their teeth? Do they get all areas of their mouth? Are they able to turn their wrist to get the toothbrush where it needs to be? When they spit, are they able to lean over the sink and spit into the sink? And then again turn on the water and rinse off their toothbrush. So that is really breaking the task down. Um, and I guess my invitation there as you're thinking about task analysis is to break the task down and then see if you can break it down farther and then see if you can break it down even farther. The purpose of breaking down a task like this is to see where is the hangup? Where do they begin to struggle? And if your goal is for your child to be able to brush their teeth independently, if you can break down the task into those tiny steps, and see where they're starting to struggle. That will help you to know where you can start to help them be successful with this task. This is, in my mind, a foundation skill for everything that you want to be able to teach your child. If you can take the task at hand, break it down into its tiniest parts, and then figure out which of those parts your child can and can't do, that will help you to know where to start. Sometimes I think, again, if we go back to brushing teeth, we have this goal of having our children brush our teeth. Sometimes I think we go to, like, I want them to just be able to brush their teeth. And then you might think, like, um, but it just makes a huge mess everywhere. This can help you to figure out, well, why is it a mess everywhere? Is it because they are squirting that toothpaste all over because they're struggling to get that toothpaste nozzle right over their toothbrush? Is it because when they spit, it's just going everywhere because they don't know how to spit properly into a sink? And then once you've figured out that specific skill that you need to teach to, then you can start there. And the rest of the process, you just build from there. Like, all right, today I'm just going to teach them how to grab their toothbrush and not their brother's toothbrush. And then you just work on that until they've mastered that skill. And then you can build on it to, okay, now I'm going to teach them how to squeeze the toothpaste tube right over their toothbrush or wherever it is that the breakdown is. And again, just teaching that one piece at a time can help you and your child to start feeling success with what you're trying to help them do. As we continue on with future videos, we'll talk more about how to apply this task analysis and then how to use that to drive where you take future strategies. Again, I think this works with every skill, any skill that you're trying to teach a child, including behavior. For instance, when you're thinking about behavior for children, maybe you want them to be able to sit in the car for a road trip without throwing tantrums. But first, you might look at, okay, well, what are the skills needed? Can this child sit for things that they enjoy? Can they sit through a movie? Can they sit and play Legos? If they're having trouble sitting through things that they enjoy, they're going to struggle to sit in the car. So if you analyze, you break down that task of sitting for prolonged periods and thinking about, again, is it the sitting itself that is the issue? Is it the lack of entertainment that's the issue? And from there, you can figure out what you can do to help them be successful. Maybe they first need to learn how to sit to do things that they enjoy before they learn how to sit to do things that they don't enjoy. I hope this was helpful. Again, this is just an overview of task analysis, which I think is a foundation skill for all of the future strategies that we'll be talking about. If this was helpful, I hope that you will consider subscribing, liking, sharing this video so that it can be helpful to others as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.